And howdy there. This is the Jerry Hinkle program. I'm Jerry Hinkle. This is my program. And you may have noticed that we're coming to you on a Tuesday. And the reason for that is I was very busy on Monday and I made creative use of the time. I've taken a lot of extra time to figure out what went on in this election. And I promised you we was going to do some fun stuff. Well, it looks like we're going to have another little boring lecture. We might even go over the 5 minute limit. Anyhow, so what went wrong, what went right, and who did which? Well, we'll see. Um, we want to look at this through the prism of history. Uh, we're going to go, instead of stopping at 2000 like some others have done to make a case for the abolition of the Electoral College, let's go all the way back to 1992. Uh, you see, one of the things I learned at the university was that a person's reality is shaped by their perception. And that does not necessarily mean that what they see is what is really going on. It's just their perception of what is going on. Uh, and there was a money crunch going on in 1992, and we had we had Bush in the Republican race. We had Bill Clinton, a dark horse who uh, just seemed to come out of nowhere and right into the thick of battle as far as and he was able to get people on his side, and that so he was able to he he did not win the Iowa caucus, and he came in second at the that New Hampshire primary, and somehow, and that's when he called himself the comeback kid when he came in second, and so, and if, the fact is, even a political junkie like myself don't even know who come in first. We just forgot about it. Anyhow, uh, Bill Clinton made an emotional connection to voters when he said, "I'll feel your pain." They believed him. They believed that those that were going through recession thought that he was the second coming of Jesus, apparently, because um, well, and another thing about that, those, while we're on the subject of the '92 election, I would caution people to remember that he only won the election with 42% of the vote. Uh, and of course, Bush had 37%, and the rest, some, well, whatever the rest was, Perot managed to steal away with. Electorally, it wasn't even close. Bill Clinton was it, and so that, so those who want to abolish the Electoral College might want to bear that in mind. So what did Bush do wrong? Bush didn't connect with the voter, and the media played along with Bill Clinton on it. They made it look like George Bush was out of touch with the common man. He went on a shopping trip, and there's got to be video footage somewhere if you know where to look for it. There's video footage of him going on a shopping trip. That Bush and his wife Barbara went on a shopping trip, and they were grocery scanners were a thing, just like they are now, and they had been around for a while during 1992, but he looked bewildered, and the Democrats really jumped on that, and that was just one example of uh, how the Bush the elder was out of touch, and he was just a year before that, he was the hero of Baghdad. He liberated, or not Baghdad, Kuwait. There was all kinds of people in Kuwait named children after Bush because of the way that he got Saddam's elite Republican Guard out of Kuwait. And so a lot of folks were disappointed that he didn't finish the job and go on into Baghdad and take Saddam out. But in his presidential memoirs, Bush said, well, that there he didn't have an exit strategy. And when his son actually did go into Baghdad to finish the job, well, things went wrong, and he should have listened to his father. Anyhow, but that's point I'm trying to make is Bill Clinton connected with his voter, and somehow Bush did not. Flash forward to 2016, Trump somehow connected with all of the hatred and anger, disappointment with the swamp, as they call it in Washington, D.C. And there was a lot of, and that's really what it's all. It had nothing to do with racism, sexism, or any other kind of ism out there. Even socialism didn't even factor in. It just was tired of the same old. That's how he was able to win over the 16 candidates for the Republican nomination, the clown car, as they're called, because he did not pull. He went right in there, and he said what a lot of people were thinking, and he didn't play it safe. Everybody else did, and that's why he got the nomination. And he tried to do the same thing. And you'll notice after he got the nomination, it didn't look like he was. I myself thought, "Oh, the fix is in," because and a lot of folks seem to be. There's a lot of different reactions to. A lot of people expected the fix to be in and for Hillary to be president, and I don't know. A lot of people are re-examining their perception because nobody saw this Trump presidency coming. And for better or worse, what happened is that for the Trump voters who actually did see this coming, hats off to them. They knew something, I guess, and it all has to do with perception. They see. Well, they saw that Hillary did not feel their pain, and for some reason they think Trump did, and that's pretty much how it happened. I guess it's a hard lesson to learn. It's the economy, stupid. Well, this time, and so I guess that's how it all turned out. A lot of folks are very upset at the way, the younger folks. It's interesting. They showed how the electoral map looked when the millennials voted, and the millennial vote, even in South Dakota, carried overwhelmingly blue, which it's going to be interesting the next time we have an election, because these old fellas like myself, we're dying off, and if these young folks, unless they do some growing up and get cynical about the liberal agenda, there could be a whole lot of liberalism going on, and because we haven't had no Democrat has had electoral votes from South Dakota since 1964, way back before I was born. And I'm an old man, let's not forget. So, anyhow, I guess that's pretty much what I got, as far as another thing closer to home. Interestingly enough, our representative in the House, Kristi Noem, has announced that she will not be running for re-election in 2018, but rather she will be running for governor, giving herself a term limit, which that should endear her to her fellow Republicans. So we'll see how that goes. So far, as one can imagine, the only other person that is running for governor in 2018 is Attorney General Marty Jackley. I'm not sure. We have term limits in South Dakota. I'm not sure if his term is up or not. I haven't had a whole lot of time to study up on this particular issue. But in 2 years, we'll see how she does. Anyhow, that's, I guess, all we have to talk about for this week. So, I don't know, unless I can think of a song in the next couple hours, or a couple minutes, I guess that'll be it. So, until next time, everybody out there in YouTube land, this is the Jerry Hinkle program, coming to you almost live, just about pretty near, from the Ashley Kringen Studios. And I don't have any props, so I guess we're not going to do a commercial. But God be with you. Do the best you can, and get out of my bathroom. You're invading my privacy.